Hi there, welcome to another video of my ramblings in the pre-race market. I'm going to look at this race at Limerick for this one. I've got other automation running in the UK racing, so we'll concentrate on Ireland. I'm going to use the split level staking. Not that the staking's important for this exercise, to be honest. It's all about trying to make sure I get the movement correct. Now I'm actually 6 minutes out from the start. That's based on a comment that someone made on the channel, although I've inadvertently lost it. They advised me to do my trading before the 2 minute mark when the market goes bonkers. So that's what I'm trying to do here. You can see the market's that little bit more calm than it normally is in the last few minutes. Clearly the favourite has been on a fairly long-term drift, albeit a slow one. The second favourite has come in a fair bit, but then got stuck around the 3.6 mark. Excuse me. So it's really a case of deciding whether this second favourite is going to bounce back again and allow the favourite to come back in price. You can see the second favourite has very little money on the backside, so I'm tempted that that's actually going to drift now. And off it goes before I do anything. So if that's going to drift, one would expect the first to come in a bit. But again, there's not a lot of money on the backside. And it's been drifting consistently for some time, so I'm tempted to lay this. So we'll put in some bets there. So I've managed to get 20 matched. That's another 20 or so getting matched. So we'll just hang around for a little bit. I'll pop in some split stakes a little bit further up, and hopefully they'll start to get matched soon. That's good. Let's just get rid of that and we'll green up from at that point and then reassess. So that was okay. Now we can see the second favourite has actually come up a fair bit as well, and it's broke through the 4 odds, the break point at 4. So the question is that going to carry on climbing, which would indicate that this is going to come down again, one would think. It's a fairly thin market. There's only £54,000 being matched so far. 3 minutes out, 3.5 minutes out. I'm tempted to go into this one. If this doesn't move from 4.1 fairly soon, I shall trade out of it. Looks like it's kind of stuck. Yeah, let's just trade out of that. And we've lost a wee bit. So 3 minutes to go. Yeah, this is obviously coming in nicely. This one's going out. This one comes down here and it bounces back again though. I think this is its limit. It doesn't want to go any lower than that, which would tend to imply it's going to go back up again. But we're getting down to the 2 minute mark, so I'm going to... Yeah, it's bounced back up again. Okay, I'll leave this race there. Reasonably happy with that, albeit the return wasn't great. But having said that, I'm not using particularly big stakes. As I say, it's all about getting the movement right rather than the staking. Okay, off to Leopardstown now. Same again, split stakes, first 3 in the market. It's a very thin market, this one. There's barely 20 grand matched so far as we're 6.5 minutes out. So you can see there's very little money coming in. Each time these odds flash, you'll see the money on either side. So there's just a couple of quid come in there, and it's very intermittent. So it's a case of sitting tight for the moment. So you can see that the favourite has slowly come down in odds here. It's reaching a crossover point, so whether it's going to stall there and bounce back up, hard to say at the moment because there's very little money in the market. Second favourite, again, I'm thinking this is going to come down. I think just by the way of how it's stuck at the top end of its range. But again, there's little to go on in terms of the amount of money in the market. Third favourite again has been trading in a relatively limited range. So I think I need to hold on for a little while longer. This chunk of money here, although it's not great in and of itself in relation to the rest of it around it, it's quite big. It's been stuck there for a while, so if that disappears, I would expect it to drift. But yeah, there's just no movement in this one at the moment, so I'm not prepared to go into it just yet. Well, we've only got £25,000 in this market. So there's nothing behind that money there. If that money disappears, although another big chunk has come in, there's nothing there. Decisions. Can't make up my mind on this one, I'm afraid. What, we've got 3.5 minutes. Only 30 grand in the market. Right, money's beginning to build up on the backside here, so I think it's time to make a decision and pop in a few bets. And I think we'll probably just take a couple of ticks on this. But I think it'll still try to stall. If it is going to come down, I think it's going to stall around about 3. It may well charge through it as we get nearer the off time. There's a nice size of money coming in. If that keeps coming, thank you. Keep going down. Yeah, it's definitely trying to break through 3 now. Right, ideally I should have got back in there because I'm actually... yeah, I've messed that up in terms of getting out. No, I got the movement right, which was the important thing. I just didn't get the exit point right at all. But we'll take that and move on to the next one. Back to Leopardstown for the third race. I'll make this the last one for this particular edition of my pre-race ramblings. Same again, split stakes, first 3 in the market. At least we've got a bit more money on this race than the previous one. Probably due to this short-priced favourite. You'll see that it's been coming down fairly steadily, right at the bottom of its range at the moment. But there's money building up here, so I'm looking at a bounce back, but who knows, we'll give it a few more seconds. The other runners I probably wouldn't get involved in, their odds are getting a bit big. So we see a fairly large amount coming in and it's disappeared again, so I'm expecting this to push up. So let me just take a few bets there. Seem to have froze for a moment. Let me just come out of this. I seem to have a connection issue. Pull up the statistics. Seems to be operating okay. Let me just actually come out of that. Get myself back to square one. Well, that's the plan. Right, let's try that again. So again, it's stuck on the bottom of its range. It's still thin there, but then that's the nature of this market, really. It was a bit annoying, that sort of the way it paused there. I was in a position to get out, but yeah, it keeps on going ahead of me. Every time I go in, it's jumping past me. Still think it's coming down though. Right, okay, managed to get some. Three minutes to go, and yeah, we've got a big bounce back all of a sudden that I didn't read at all. So I think what I'll do is I'll hang on for a little while longer. If it gets any worse, we'll get out. So there's a new range where it seems to be operating in, having come all the way down. It's now bouncing back and forth in this range here. Very little money at the back end of it to push it back though. Well, we've got 3 minutes left. Come on. Oh, almost reached me, but never mind. Come on. Yeah, it's starting to get a bit hectic now. Right, I don't like the way this is bouncing back and forth, so I'm just going to come out for the little hit. 73 pence. Yeah, let's come out. Right, okay, I didn't read that one very well. I got the downward movement okay, but every time I went in, it jumped ahead of me. So I really made the cardinal mistake of going back in and chasing the price, which you really shouldn't do. Yet another lesson to be learned. Okay guys, I'll wrap this video up for this episode. I'll catch you later. Cheers.